Welcome to an episode of Superkick podcast. I'm your host, Ringside Poppy. Happy New Year. Hope you guys had a good night, good weekend or whatnot. Let's go into the review of 2023 for WWE. WWE on Fox IG had a little awards for the different categories for the past year. Some of those was the male superstar of the year, the female superstar of the year, tag team of the year, max of the year, rivalry of the year, return of the year, breakout star of the year, faction of the year, and crowd chant of the year. So some of these, I went through some of these and I looked at them as I was posting them, and I thought some was, pretty accurate. Some of them I didn't agree with. So I think some of them that I don't agree with, I'm gonna put my own opinion on who should have won those. And let's go from there. So I think the first one was the crowd chant. I'm gonna post these two. You should be seeing those up on the screen too. Crowd chant of the year. The choices was "Yeah" by LA Knight, "Yeet" from Jey Uso, "Whoa" from Cody Rhodes through his entrance song, and Seth Rollins' song with the crowd singing. I know that technically Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins' theme both aren't actual chants because they're in chanting. The people are actually just singing along with the song. It should be something more like crowd participation or just getting the crowd into it type of like award. But if we had to go down between the two of those, I think Fox had went with LA Knight for the "Yeah." I don't kind of feel that, honestly, just because sometimes the "yeah" isn't always on point with the crowd, and sometimes it's off, and sometimes they don't say "yeah," but then it should be a "yeah" at times where LA Knight is talking. And I don't know, sometimes it doesn't always flow well. I would have to narrow it down between these four, between Ashley, Cody, and Seth, just because that's like full crowd participation. They all into it. It's all together. They rocking the arena, with the, when it starts. But when you go between both of them, I'm going to pick with Seth Rollins. When the crowd starts going to the song and they're singing the song and everyone's in unison, and it can just carry on without the music, without Seth Rollins' music going on. The crowd just singing the song for 5 minutes by themselves, a cappella style, and it's something special. It's a different type of energy. It's a different energy as opposed to even with the Yeet, which is newer, and it's still dope. And other nice thing too, and it's just a different energy. It's just electric. And so just like with Cody Rhodes, it's electric with the wall, but I just think if Seth Rollins gets this one. The next category that the Fox IG had went with was the faction of the year. And the choices with that was Judgment Day, the Bloodline, Damage Control, and the Alpha Academy. I'm quite surprised that the Alpha Academy is on this one. I mean, they don't show them do anything. It's more a comical like relief thing when they're on. They're not really taking over for us like a main like storyline. And so where you have like Judgment Day, who has a main storyline in on Raw, the Bloodline, who has the main storyline on Smackdown, and that also sometimes crosses over into Raw, and Judgment Day, who has the main storyline on Smackdown. So then when you go from there, I take out Damage Control because I feel like even though Io Sky is the women's champion, they still don't push them enough to make them seem like they're a dominant faction in WWE. They just outnumber everyone, So there is no real. I don't know. I think they could have a stronger storyline with Damage Control. It's be interesting to see what the Kabuki War is going to do now with Alba and I believe it's Iris or something like that interfered recently. And so I think that might be the split of Damage Control coming up. So now we eliminate them, and you go between Judgment Day and the Bloodline. And yeah, Judgment Day is kind of been on a hot streak of recently this year. But I feel like that's been more so towards the second half of the year after after WrestleMania. Because Finn lost at WrestleMania. Uh, Dirty Dom lost at WrestleMania. Only person that won was Rhea. She won, and she won the championship. But outside of that, then you had Damian Priest winning the Money in the Bank, and Finn Balor becoming the tag team champions. Also later on, so that might have been, I want to say, kind of like almost like October when that happened. And so to say that they kind of dominated the storyline or WWE this year, I can't really go with that. So obviously it's the bloodline. The bloodline up to, well, even past WrestleMania, you had the storyline with at SummerSlam, and then it kind of died down after that, and then Roman came back for Crown Jewel or whatnot. But I mean, the bloodline storyline and their just involvement in SmackDown and WWE, it's something to watch, and I feel like you always look forward to them being on that night, as opposed to any other faction in WWE. So we're going with bloodline for that. So next category that they had was Breakout Star of the Year. And so the nominees were LA Knight, Dirty Dom, Solo Sikoa, and Io Sky. And I mean, I can try to argue for each one of these people. Io, she had a phenomenal year. She cashed in Money in the Bank. She won the championship. Solo has been on a solid run. He suffered some losses recently, but then he had that, this big defeat against John Cena, where he kind of like dominated John Cena, which was kind of surprising to have. I thought he actually was going to lose that match, but he beat John Cena, which is a big milestone for him. They kind of put him over, but they still haven't done anything else further with him. Dirty Dom, also, man, he's been on fire in terms of being a heel, and he seemed like he's really has embraced that role as a heel, and to be able to come out, try to do your promo, your segment or whatever, and can't do it because the crowd is booing you so hard. It's crazy. So hard to when no one can hear you even speak on the microphone. I mean, it's something, that crowd participation, having the crowd into it that much to just hijack what you're doing and show that level of just hatred towards a character. Yeah, I mean, I think he's the biggest heel in WWE right now, as far as like there's people just hating him alone, whether it's just hating him as a wrestler or hating the character, people just hate him. And I mean, he's doing his job perfectly, LA Knight, who's been on a meteoric like rise to the top. It seemed to kind of just happen overnight. And I remember I was just seeing all this different stuff on social media and from his past and things that he was doing before, and him in commercials and him in other wrestling companies or whatnot. And then all of a sudden he just started constantly building momentum until becoming like the quote unquote mega star that he kind of is right now. But I don't know, man. I still don't think that he's had a better breakout star. I don't think any of these people have had a better breakout year than Jey Uso. He was heavily involved in the Bloodline storyline this year. Main evented one night of WrestleMania. Quote unquote, quit. Also main evented SummerSlam against Roman Reigns. Quote unquote, quit WWE. Popped up on Monday Night Raw with Cody Rhodes. Won the tag team championships with Cody Rhodes. He has merchandise that's crazy. I think his merchandise is better than LA Knight's. He has a chant that is arguably better than LA Knight's. Just when he comes out, his interest is better with the crowd participation. He's just on a better rise to me. LA Knight might have won more matches than Jey Uso, but I just feel like the spotlight for Jey Uso has just grown in comparison to where he was the year before. You know, he is like a main event dude. No pun intended, but you know, he is that guy now. And it's great to see that. You know, I saw another content creator, not Sam, mentioned about how if it's like in a comic book, he kind of had his own side story, and his story took over, and it became like a solid life story for Jey Uso. So even though Fox had picked LA Knight as the breakout star of the year, I'm going with Jey Uso. I mean, you can't beat that, you know. So next category was Return of the Year, and the nominees were The Rock, R-Truth, Randy Orton, and CM Punk. I just keep it short, man. Like, we know it's CM Punk. He hasn't been in WWE for 10 years. He's back. He's actually wrestling in WWE again. They already started to inject him into storylines or whatnot. Would it be great to see The Rock actually officially back in wrestling and whatnot? Yeah. And I think if that was the case, I would say The Rock. But we always get teased with this. He's possibly coming back. He's possibly going to wrestle. Nothing is ever really set in stone for him to wrestle. I thought he would have been in a match against Roman at WrestleMania 39. There's rumors from him wrestling at WrestleMania 40. But for the most part, it's always kind of just been rumors and speculation about The Rock. Like I say, it was amazing. It was a surprise thing to see him come back on SmackDown. But we just don't know what's going to happen next with him. At least we know that we can see him Punk back in our WWE wrestling ring wrestling coming up. You know, he's in the Royal Rumble, you know, so CM Punk easily. Next category is the rivalry of the year. So they had Brock versus Cody, Ray versus Dom, Bloodline Civil War, and Sami versus Roman. The Brock versus Cody matches weren't that entertaining to me. I feel like they could have did more with that. They really didn't do as much as I thought they were going to do, and I hope that they would have done. They weren't like terrible matches, but they could have been a little more entertaining. So, no for them. Ray versus Dom. I think we saw that coming from a mile away. But I think I would have wanted a little more out of that too. It wasn't bad, but it just wasn't enough for me. You know, I think they should have did a little more with that or whatnot. We go Sami versus Roman, and the match that they had at Elimination Chamber was great. You know, the energy from all the fans in Montreal. You know, he had his family at ringside, Sami there, but still, like, I feel like that's all bloodline business, right? You know, so it's hard for me to say that that's the best one. And then when you got Jey Uso versus Roman at SummerSlam, well, not even that match is the Civil War, which is just inner workings between the bloodline. And Sami was part of the bloodline, so that's still bloodline Civil War in a sense, you know. So I just think that I guess you would have to split that for me, because it's all bloodline business at the end of the day. So I guess based off of this category for them, I would just say that's the tie between those two, the Civil War and Sami versus Roman. Like I said, it's just all bloodline stuff to me, so I just group it all together. Next category is Match of the Year. So the nominees were the Women's War Game match from Survivor Series, the Intercontinental Championship Triple Threat match from WrestleMania 29 between Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre, Rhea versus Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 39, and then Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns at Elimination Chamber in Montreal. The Women's War Game match was a great way to start off Survivor Series. And it wasn't a bad match. I mean, actually, everything on this list is pretty solid matches for me. You know, and they are like great matches, and all in themselves. And then, but I don't think the Women's War Game match is any better than the other 3 matches. So then I want to say, so I'm gonna knock that one out. Then I'm gonna look at Sammy versus Roman, which I just spoke about, in the rivalry of the year. Great match, energy. You can feel the emotion of the crowd, of everything. But you kind of always know that Roman isn't necessarily going to lose. There's no real there's no doubt, So there's no uncertainty that he's going to lose. So I can't really say that it was a good match, a great match. Still not better than these last 2 possibly. Then I think about Rhea versus Flair. Rhea getting her revenge in a sense. From a couple years ago. I think it was at the WrestleMania in the Thunderdome, and Flair had beaten her for the NXT Championship, I think, at the time. And now she gets her revenge, and she beats Flair for the Women's Championship, and at WrestleMania, so she has a WrestleMania moment, and it's great, and it's a phenomenal match, and they're putting their bodies through all type of stuff, to entertain and make it a great match, which it was. That would fall number 2 in comparison to this IC triple threat match. Gunther versus Sheamus was a banger, and it was great. And then they interject Drew McIntyre into this Formula 2 as well, because the matches between Drew McIntyre and Sheamus were epic, and it was great. I could have watched them fight for 4 weeks in a row, and they almost felt like they did. And then every time they had a match, it was great. So these 3 of them together, chopping each other, slapping each other, putting, just doing damage to each other, that was that's my favorite match of the year. And when you pick out of these 4, but if I had to add one, I don't know how you don't go with Cody versus Roman WrestleMania. Cody trying to, just the build up to it. Cody trying to finish the story. And then you go against Roman Reigns, and they had, their promos and their, meetings in the arena segments and stuff, and the passion between Cody Rhodes saying, and then the arrogance of Roman Reigns. And we get to the match, and Solo get kicked out, and you're like, oh man, you just feel like Cody has it. He's gonna finish the story. This is his moment, like he's back, and he's gonna reach the mountaintop that he always has wanted to reach. And then Solo comes back, and he interferes, hit the Samoan spike, and you get that spear, and you hit that, because you had kickouts. There was spears, and it was kicked out. There was crossroads, and there were kickouts. And so you get to the end, and you get that last spear, and it's 1, 2, 3, and then the air just got sucked out of the building when at the end when Roman won. It was just like, it was nothing that I've ever experienced before. I think that for me that's the match of the year. Roman versus Cody, WrestleMania 39, night 2. I don't think you get better as far as it's like, man, unpredictable with that. Roman hit their press conference. It's like, man, there's a lot of stupid faces up in here. So I don't know. He was right, man. Like, it was a big surprise, and that he still was able to pull that off. So yeah, for me, Roman versus Cody. Next category on the list is Tag Team of the Year. Most of the people, nominees on here, I wouldn't even consider them an actual tag team. They're just 2 individual wrestlers that they get paired together, and to me, that doesn't make them an actual tag team. But I digress. Nominees are Piper Niven, Chelsea Green, Damian Priest, Finn Balor, and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And then the last one, Usos, the actual real tag team on the list for me. I'm not even trying to make an argument for everyone else. Usos had the tag team championship for over 600 days. They main evented WrestleMania night 1. They're arguably one of the best tag teams of all time. They lost at WrestleMania, and then they kind of died off after that. So they split, whatnot. Bloodline business, Civil War and stuff or whatever. But they still end up fighting later on against Roman even before this, but they main event another pay-per-view when they had Roman and Solo versus the Usos, and then they won that. And so to me, they are the best tag team of the year, and are the tag team of the year. Kevin and Sammy, even though they beat those Usos at WrestleMania, then they only held the belts maybe until October, like Fastlane. They didn't hold it that much longer. And then you had Damian Priest and Finn Balor. They beat them, and then they ended up losing to Cody and Jey Uso, even though they ended up regaining them a week later. But still, they're just not a dominant tag team for me, as like the Usos are. So, the Usos, man, easily. Next category is Female Superstar of the Year. Nominees are Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch, Io Sky, and Rhea Ripley. I think it's an easy one with this one. Everyone has kind of been dominant in their own ways. Bianca, winning the championship and winning it again. And then Io beating Bianca, winning the championship and holding it for a while. Even though she hasn't, let's say, they don't have a real good storyline for her. So it's hard to really see them pushing her like she probably should be, and make her seem like she's, a dominant force in the women's division. Becky Lynch, who's, is Becky Lynch, the man, always doing great things. Within the NXT, won the NXT championship, was giving different women superstars opportunity or whatnot, trying to elevate that championship to make it, more relevant and prestige than it already is. But I don't think anyone has had a better year than Rhea Ripley. After winning the championship at WrestleMania, she's just been on fire. The crowd loves her. She's a heel, but the crowd loves her nonstop. You look forward to seeing her every time she's on TV. Every time you want different segments of you want to see her on TV. You want to hear from her. You want to see her wrestle. She has phenomenal matches, So I just think it's just Rhea Ripley, easily. Female superstar. And last but not least, the male superstar of the year. And the nominees are Gunther, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. I'm going to just eliminate them one by one. Roman Reigns. Even though he's the tribal chief, another superstar that you always look forward to seeing on TV and whatnot, but he's just not there enough to say that he's the male superstar of the year. He had like 10 matches, if that, this year. So even though they've been main event matches or whatnot, you just don't get to see him enough. And I get why they're trying to do it, to make him see like a big box office draw when he comes out or whatever. But there's other superstars that are working harder and doing great things on TV weekly, So I had to get rid of Roman Reigns, but he's out. Next, between Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, and Gunther. If I had to eliminate one of these guys next, It's tough. I'm going to get rid of Cody. I'm getting rid of Cody. I don't want to, but I got to get rid of Cody. Even though he's wrestled almost every week, and night in and night out, he's there. The crowd loves him. He got the dog, man. So he's doing a lot. I'm not eliminating him just because he's not, up there. He's deserving. He could arguably be the male superstar of the year, and I think he actually did. That Fox actually did pick him as the male superstar of the year. But to me, I'm gonna have to say no. Even though he's worked hard, always been, I think he had the most matches of the year, and then I think it might have been Dominic, and then Seth Rollins, or something like that. But he was up there. He was the top 3 for most matches of the year. But quality don't necessarily mean great quality. Not to say that his matches are bad. I just think maybe these other two, the last two, have had better matches in totality than Cody Rhodes. So now it leaves me with Seth Rollins and Gunther. Seth Rollins, WWE Heavyweight Champion, got the song, got the clothes, got the entrance, got the moves, giving superstars a chance. Different matches, he's putting the title up on the line, not just at pay-per-views, but actual televised events. And those televised events are amazing. You know, him versus Sammy, him versus Jey Uso. You know, he's being a workhorse. You know that he is. But I think I gotta get rid of him too. So it leaves me with Gunther, and the reason why I feel Gunther is male superstar of the year is, man, Gunther doesn't let you down. It might not be the most exciting. He's not flipping. He's not doing all type of, wild stuff. But the matches are great, man. Like they really aren't too many hiccups in his matches. Like I said, that triple threat match was great. The matches between him and The Miz were great. Him and Chad Gable were great. You know, there aren't too many matches that they have put Gunther in where their matches haven't been great matches, and there haven't been matches that you don't want to see. Even though they might be easily predictable, that you kind of know that Gunther's going to win no matter what. But at least they're still pretty solid, real good matches. It's a hard choice between Seth Rollins and Gunther for me. I think Gunther just barely edges out Seth Rollins in this category. But I think you can still argue for Cody Rhodes too as male superstar of the year. But for me, out of these guys here, it's Gunther. So that's gonna wrap it up for another episode of the Superkick podcast. Hope you guys enjoy it. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment. Tell me your thoughts in the different categories. Like some of the shorts I've been posting, like some of the other videos that I've posted. Comment, share those. Just want to say thank you guys for helping me reach my first goal, was to get 100 subscribers. I'm just gonna try to keep building from there, and hopefully do something big. I got other ideas for this podcast, for this channel, and I just need you guys' help. And you guys help me out. I swear I'm gonna look out for you guys and take care of you guys. But yeah, man. Until then, enjoy day 1, which is today. I think I got some predictions for that. I think it's Becky versus Nia Jax. I'm going with Becky. There is Tegan Knox and Natalya versus Shayna Baszler and Zoe Starks. I think I'm going Shayna and Zoe, only because I think they might be trying to make them heels, and not too sure, but I think I'm going with those guys, those ladies. Who else is wrestling? Don't remember. I know we got Seth versus Drew McIntyre. I'm going Seth Rollins again tonight. I think he might win due to Sami Zayn coming back and either distracting Drew McIntyre in some way and helping they'll call Seth Rollins to win, or Jey Uso might do the same thing that Sami Zayn is doing, distracting Drew McIntyre and allowing Seth Rollins to win that match as well. We got New Year's Revolution coming up Friday. I think I'm gonna go with either that triple threat match. I don't think it's gonna be a triple threat match. I think it's gonna all be DQ, and then you will get a fatal 4-way. You should get a fatal 4-way. I think that would be the best option. The fatal 4-way at the Royal Rumble. For that, I can't remember who else is fighting. Oh, you got Kevin Owens versus Santos Escobar in the United States Championship. Oh, then United States Tournament. We got Kevin Owens going to win that one there. You got Mia Yim with Michin versus Io Sky. Going Io Sky. Damage Skill is going to interfere in that. And I kind of feel that might be it for the matches. I think like there's like one more on each one, but I can't remember what it is right now. But I will go over them next time. But yeah, until then, adios. Say what's up to the dog, Wolf.